Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me, Thabo. Joao, thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be in this event and to be able to tell a little bit of my story, the story of World Football Summit, which is, I guess, in case you don't know it, it's World Football Summit is an international congress focused on the business of football and of sports. And obviously, as an event company, these have been some very difficult times for us because of COVID. So, the title is the implications of COVID-19 now in sports summits and sports conferences. And well, a company like ours is dealing with those implications at the moment as we speak. But before I talk about that, I wanted to make a brief introduction about World Football Summit, what it is, and how it came to be as a project, because I'm guessing some of you don't know it. So I'm going to share a presentation that I have here right now. Well, just so you know, World Football Summit is an entrepreneurial project which was created and developed by Nexus Fostering Partnership, which is a company that I set up in 2006, organizing events. And in 2015, we had the idea to develop a conference, an annual event in Madrid around the business of football. And well, why football and why Spain? Well, there are many reasons, but obviously football, as you all know, is the #1 sports in the world. Some of the numbers around football are huge. In the last World Cup in Russia in 2017, FIFA.com was the #1 website in the world. There were 7.5 billion engagements across digital media. And well, everybody knew what was happening at the time, But football is also a lot more than an event, and then a sport. It's something that transcends, all over society, So this is a famous picture of a movie that has nothing to do with football, It's a movie about the two popes, Ratzinger, and the current Pope, and it's a story about their relationship, and in the movie, the most famous scene is this one, and the fact that they bond during a football match, So even if football is not being played, it's being talked about, it's being shared, so it's a very big industry that in 2015, when we started, did not have an event that could bring together the key stakeholders of the industry. It was surprising because obviously in Spain, Spain is has a huge heritage in sports, and at the time, they had recently won the World Cup, 2 European championships. Barcelona and especially Real Madrid were at its height, winning most of the Champions Leagues, but it did not have a conference that would bring together all of those people. Whereas in other countries, especially in the UK, events similar to what we were envisioning did exist, such as Leaders or Soccerex. So we had a great idea, but obviously, well, ideas are, as they say often, ideas are worthless. Execution is everything. So since then, we organized a very successful first event in Madrid in October 2016, and that's really where we started, with World Football Summit. And since then, our growth has been exponential, because obviously I think we had all of the right ingredients to organize an event like ours. So since then, we've organized 11 different events. We've brought together more than 920 speakers, more than 16,000 attendees. And obviously, at an event like ours, mainly the main actors of the event are the clubs, the leagues, and federations. No, so we always have a very strong presence of those representatives. No, we have several global events. The biggest one is WFS Europe, which we rebaptized this year. Before it was just World Football Summit, and it was our Madrid Summit, just so that you have an idea of the dimensions of the summit. In 2019, which was our last on-site event, it lasted 2 days. We had over 2,000 attendees from more than 100 countries, and we organized about 40 different panels and had a very strong media coverage, because the speakers, the people that we bring are very interesting to the different media that comes to an event like ours. Apart from WFS Europe, which is Madrid, we have a very similar concept to World Football Summit in Madrid in different regions. So we did a first edition in 2019 in Asia, in Kuala Lumpur, and the format was very similar to the one we did in Madrid. So obviously we try and bring together the key stakeholders of the industry. In Asia, obviously 90% of the attendees, of the speakers, of the partners are Asian. So these events, they don't step on each other, but rather they allow an event company, a platform like ours, to grow in our database, to grow in spreading, the challenges and the opportunities of the football industry. And in 2020, we were about to organize World Football Summit Africa, which was just like our European event, just like our Asian event. This was meant to be a meeting point for the key stakeholders of the African football industry. But then I was actually with my whole team in Durban, South Africa, which is where the event was going to take place. And well, COVID happened. So 5 days before the celebration of the event, we had to cancel the event, and we had to reinvent ourselves, a little bit. So what did we do? Obviously, in 2020, we were supposed to organize 4 different events in 3 different continents. So we were about to organize World Football Summit in Africa. We then, a few months later, we were going to organize our Asian edition. We also had a smaller event, which is called the Football Innovation Forum, which we organized the day before the Champions League final, which would have been in Istanbul last year. And then we would have had the 5th edition of World Football Summit. So COVID happened, and for an event company like ours, obviously the implications were huge, especially financially, because I'd say most of the revenues of a company like ours depend on organizing events. So we had to pivot strongly, and we organized 2 very successful online events. The first one was we called it World Football Summit Live. We had 2 editions of World Football Summit Live. The first one was in July 2020, and the second one was in November 2020. So basically, we had to learn for the first time to organize an event in an online manner, and actually they were extremely successful. It was, on paper, certainly I would say that they were the biggest events to date that we've ever had. So we had more than 3,400 attendees from over 120 countries. We obviously made it last longer because we did the conferences. We did them during time zones that could work all over the world. So we had maximum of 3-4 hours of conferences each day. And it also allowed us to bring in very high quality speakers, because obviously they didn't have to invest their time in traveling to an event. No, so that really allowed World Football Summit to continue organizing events, continuing to bring the key stakeholders of the industry together, continuing to provide a platform for everybody to network through a very powerful platform, such as the ones you're using right now. No, the technology now exists for those online summits, which did not exist maybe a few years ago, and it allowed obviously World Football Summit to stay in the mind of everybody else, to grow its network, no, and to make sure that World Football Summit, when physical events got back on its feet, could be organized again. No? So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now, because basically, well, this is a little bit, well, what we've done, and obviously right now we're in the midst of organizing our first physical summit, no, in on-site with people coming in 2 years. The last one was in September 2019, and now we're organizing the first on-site summit in Madrid again, and we're doing so in the midst of a pandemic. No, so obviously the challenges are huge. We obviously, I could actually explain better the implications of organizing conferences during a pandemic in 4 weeks' time, when our event will have finished. But obviously, I've been going to several conferences over the past months to see how it works. No, and it's obviously a tricky situation, because there are people who are still not comfortable going in places with crowded people. But in our case, no, and in the case of events, what we've noticed is that people are really craving to get back together, to see each other, to meet, no, and to interact face to face. No, so our next event is going to be on the 22nd and 23rd of September. It's going to happen in the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium. It's going to be an on-site summit, but it's also going to be our first hybrid event. So anybody who cannot travel or who does not feel comfortable going to an on-site event will be able to access the event online. So actually, that is, looking at the glass half full, that is actually one of the greatest benefits of the pandemic, the fact that it had transformed the event business digitally in a very strong way. So right now, the technology that exists to ensure that hybrid events are successful is fantastic, no? And that did not exist a couple of years ago. So I think, in my opinion, in the future, all events are going to be hybrid, and that is going to allow the event business to grow, because I think people who can actually travel and go to the event physically will continue to do so. No, but those who cannot travel will be able to buy an online pass and experience the event in an online way, which is different from experiencing it on site. But it's still very valid. No, so yeah, the implications obviously have been very strong, and I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't yet know where it's going to go or what the exact implications are going to be. It's also going to depend on how fastly the vaccines are spread, how well they work, and I think that most of the population now is able to and is willing to have the vaccines if they are working. So, well, I think my 20 minutes are more or less off. So I see that there are a few questions. You had to cancel the Africa event just a few days before the event. Can you tell me about the plans for an event in Africa? Well, we are gonna obviously, yeah. For us, it was very, very painful to cancel that event, especially because we were 5 days away from the inauguration, and it was a difficult decision because obviously it was our event was going to take place on the 17th and 18th of March, and on the 11th of March, the World Health Organization declared it was a global pandemic. No, so actually in South Africa at the time there were very few COVID cases. There were, I think, only 11 in the whole country. So obviously many people in Africa and South Africa did not see the need to cancel, but then, you know, things accelerated very quickly, and we had people traveling from all over the world to the event. So obviously those people could have come infected, and they could have infected more. So it was obviously a difficult decision at the time, but 2-3 days later, we quickly realized it was the right one, and we will go back and organize that event that we had planned as soon as we can. No, so as soon as the conditions in Africa allow us to organize an international event, that the authorities allow it, we will do it, and we're hoping that can be in next year. No, and hopefully before the summer. So we're in close contact with the authorities in South Africa, in Durban, and hopefully we'll have news soon. Okay. How much is the online pass for the next hybrid event? Well, you have all of the prices on our website. Right now it's 120 euros. The online pass is a lot cheaper than the physical pass. You actually have all of the benefits of someone traveling to Madrid. So you can use the same platform. You can obviously view all of the panels that we organize through the streaming. You can also participate through chats. Through different chats, ask questions, Q&As, just like you're doing here. It's a very powerful platform that also allows you to network with all of the attendees, whether they're physical or whether they are online. You can chat with them, you can close meetings with them, you can close meetings them if you're not there. There are directly on the meetings directly have a video link. So it has all the benefits of participating live, only that you're not there. No, that's the real difference. Okay. What are the success of World Football Summit in other parts of like Asia and Oceania? Yeah, as I was saying before, you know, the football is a global industry. No, obviously the biggest industry in the world in football is European, and that is why, you know, our event in Madrid was the first one to be celebrated, and right now is the biggest. But we don't know what will happen in the future. No, so Asia, for example, is a huge market for the global football industry, and even though many times, you know, and as I was saying, all our events, they don't step on each other, because our event in Asia is very much focused on the challenges and the opportunities of the football and the sports industry in that region. No, so even if we have similar speakers in each event, their speech, what they want to discuss in those regions, are completely different. No, to give you an example, what Javier Tebas would tell an audience in Madrid is different to what he would tell an audience in Asia. No, in Asia he would discuss about how important the Asian continent is for La Liga, for the La Liga clubs, and why he wants to spread and to strengthen his position in that region. And I think we are left out of time. So again, I wanted to thank Thabo of Stylistic Sportainment for inviting me to this conference, and Joao from My Work in Sports also for organizing everything. It's been a pleasure to be with you.